What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is a certain point of view on a Sunday evening. And as you can see, we are 2 members short today, but gained 2 guests today, as one Frank Janisch and PJ Campbell have officially joined us on tonight's show. Can't wait to hear their thoughts on the final Friday Night Titans of the movie trivia Schmoedown, which is very, very strange to say. It's also weird because I'm actually looking. I'm in Jill's spot and Jill's in my spot tonight, but we're going with it.
No, change it. I hate it.
We're
Thanks,
going
I
with
hate it. No, switch it. No, switch it.
I'll go up there.
No, I say that you leave Jill there. Leave Jill.
You're in the hot seat.
Yeah, you got to drive now.
You're in the hot seat, Jill. You're in the hot seat. It looks good.
You're in the hot seat. Deal with it. You're driving. Enjoy
it. Look, we have the Friday Night Titans finale to discuss tonight, which includes a massive singles championship match between Sam Levine and Ethan Irwin that I can't wait to talk about because what a match. Like, my goodness, what a match. But let's see how everybody's doing tonight. It's Sunday. Weekend's about to wrap up. Jill, how's it going over there?
I went to brunch. Today. There's a
Say
brunch
no more.
place. There's a brunch place literally like a half a mile from where we live. So my mom and I went there and I had a whole bottle of champagne to myself. So I felt pretty good. Felt pretty good this morning. So PJ, you can ignore your text. Hi, BLD. We played
BLD back. What is he talking about?
we played D&D yesterday. I'm gonna try and schmooze my way out of not having to go into the office 3 days in a row this week.
There you go.
But I will be in Sacramento in like 4 days.
Sure will.
Hype.
Sure
Fucking
will.
hype.
About to be sweating because it's hot.
It's gonna be. I looked, and it's gonna be 99 degrees, and I'm
It's
like,
hot.
Oh wow, 99 degrees. That sounds like a dream.
yeah, no, Molly and I are gonna be on the floor having a heat stroke.
Nah, the alcohol will cure that.
That's just gonna make it worse.
Nah, you'll be good. They're gonna be nice and refreshing. You'll be good.
Good. Counting on it.
Mr. Frank Janisch, how are you, man?
I'm good. That's it.
Wow.
That's it?
No.
Wow.
That's it?
What a rousing speech. Wow,
What a
Frank.
Yeah.
great contribution to the show we have with Frankie Janisch, man.
I know, right?
Mint.
I
Absolutely.
did go to work. I didn't go to brunch. That would have been nice.
Bummer.
But I had to
Choices
go to
were
work.
made.
Yeah, well, it's not really it is a choice, but one that would like force upon me. Like I gotta go to work, or otherwise, they'll fire me. So I went.
Fair.
Yeah. So,
Fair.
And then now I'm here. So
Hey.
that's pretty much been my day. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna exactly? Yesterday though.
What was your day yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday I also did work yesterday as well.
Bummer.
But then I came home from work. What did I do? I tried to watch The Gray Man. And
That's not.
Yeah, because I got about halfway through. I'm like, this just ain't doing it for me, man. So then I put
And
on
it doesn't
Return of
get
the
better.
Jedi. Yeah, I got through halfway, and I was like, I might throw it on some other time when I got like another hour to kill, and finish it off that way. But yeah, Gray Man not so great. Prey though.
Prey is excellent.
Prey is rad. I watched
Prey
Prey.
is really good. So,
The Gray Man is so bad that I want the Russo brothers to never go near the MCU again.
I was like, man, these guys directed MCU
Hot
movies.
They directed 4 top-tier MCU movies.
Yeah, and then they made The Gray Man and Cherry. And
I mean, the movie looks great. I think but just like the story itself, like the pacing, I was just like, what is? I don't even. This is like just the longest screensaver of all time right now.
It also
it's just
has
a 2-hour screensaver.
It has one of the worst action sequences I've ever seen in a big budget action movie, and I'm not
The train
sure
sequence?
No, the plane sequence.
Trains, planes, and automobiles.
There's a sequence involving
Actually,
a plane
Jill, that's a great reference.
that is so bafflingly shot that I still don't. I'm like, these dudes did Winter Soldier, and I'm so confused.
Yeah, one of my favorite movies ever made. And I feel it.
Yeah,
I feel it.
Bummer.
PJ Campbell, how about you, man?
I'm surviving, man. I was just happy to get a link today. Similarly, I'm supposed to be in Sacramento in like 4 days, apparently. That's the rumors that I keep hearing. I don't know. There's something going on, something about a wedding. We'll see. But it's gonna be, and it should be fun. But it's good to be here. It's good to see you guys. I haven't really talked about the show in a bit, so
Well, it's now or never.
Yeah, exactly.
Now or never, Peach.
I mean, we have a little while left of singular matches and exhibitions coming our way. But yes, as far as a program, I guess is what you can say.
Show. Yeah.
Friday Night Titans is officially over and done with. So I do want to ask before we get going, because Frank, you guys ended Rundown a little while ago, and PJ, you don't talk much Schmoedown on the channel, or haven't for a little while. I just wanted to ask you guys kind of, how you've been feeling about it and the lead up, and obviously the show being cut, and kind of how things were maneuvered around, and how you think everything kind of wrapped itself up as FNT finished out on Friday. From your perspective.
Sure. I mean, I was always super on board for Titans as an idea. When Christian called me and let me know that this was the way the season was going to be, I was really excited because it kind of felt like a natural culmination of everything we'd been working to build over the years. And so, we took a really big swing, and it was super exciting, and I love being a part of it. And, I think that it played out really well. And I'm really, really proud of the stuff we ended up doing. And this last episode was really great. And I thought that we ended it in the best possible case scenario that you can, all things being equal. I like the little bit of a Cheers homage ending that we got with Jen Sturger turning off the lights.
Great post scene. Great.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm always going to be grateful for the show for so many reasons. Most of all, like, people on this screen. Like, I wouldn't know you guys if it wasn't for the show.
Oh, hi.
So, no matter what, at the end of the day, the most proud I'll ever be is that I got you guys out of it. And it doesn't change the fact that Titans was actually like such a cool thing. And I was glad we took the swing. It felt exciting. It was fun. I thought we really did something special this season. So we still got a couple episodes left. Plus we got Spectacular, but like, I'm sad to see Titans ending because I thought it was just very cool, very bold. And we took the swing. That's it. We took the swing.
What's the initial question again?
Wow.
You haven't been talking Schmoedown for a few weeks. Rundown ended, and I wanted to kind of get your take on how everything has kind of wrapped itself up over the last little while.
So full transparency, I haven't watched a Friday Night Titans since Rundown aired until this last one. I did watch the last one with Sam.
I was gonna say, so you're here to talk about Friday Night Titans?
No.
Cool.
Like the week rundown, the last rundown would have covered the Brandon Hanna match, that episode, right? I didn't even watch that. I haven't watched anything since prior to that, up until this last Titans. Honestly, I kind of went through like a bit of a lull. Like and it's because of the way things transpired and ended. I'm okay with the show, the Schmoedown ending. Like at some point, 8, 9, 10 years, it was gonna end eventually. And I was like, okay. I wish, if I had a magic wish, I wish we could have done a full season. I wish, for the rundown, we could have covered the entire season, like a final finale season. But that's not what we got. And what they ended up doing with this last Titans, I feel like they did a great job of utilizing of what we had. And then obviously that scene with Jen was kind of like a, obviously they went back and shot that at some point to add that in. So, what they did there and kind of, signing it off and, the Face of Black, and it's, created by Christian Harf and Mark Ellis. I thought, I was like, that really underscored it. Yeah, this is over. I know we have other matches that are going to be released throughout the next several weeks, but it's, and I'll also say, a kind of behind the scene wise, you could kind of read the tea leaves and see that this was coming, but it's also when you're like joking about it, you don't really, I think it's also to kind of like mask and hide just how sad it's going to be when it does actually end. So you're like confronting it, but not really. And so even when it did happen, I was like, damn, this really is it. Yeah. This really is the last run. This really is the last Titans I'm watching, It sucks, but so many great memories, met so many great people. And so there's a lot of different types of emotions that goes into the finale of, well, there's the rundown or Titans, or even when we get to Spectacular and we shoot that and that airs, and that'll be a whole nother. It's really just a long post-mortem. Like it is just like this funeral that just drags on for 3 months. And so
it's literally been 3 months. I think
and we still have 2 months left ish.
2 months,
until it even airs.
Yeah. It's sorry, David B. I don't know if you got that email. Schmoedown's ending.
I hear Frank on that though, because there has been like a long, drawn out process, especially because I think I can say it now. We all were well aware of it before it had officially been announced. Which made it that much harder because some of us were having to do like Q&A type things or like playing up like we were doing certain things and still having to pretend that things were going right.
Speaking of Q&A things, I had to do a Q&A, Patreon Q&A with Brendan Meyer, and like literally got like the email like
as you were
the day before or like hours before. I'm like, all right.
I think I might have gotten the email like either the day before or the day of. We were doing like a Q&A or a patron thing or the actual Sunday show, and I was like, gotta pretend this doesn't exist. Like,
that was really weird because someone in the in the chat in the Patreon asked about like, what do you think's coming up for the rest of the season? I was like, I cannot talk about that. There is no rest of the season.
About that. Rough.
All right, well, let's just get into this because we have a couple.
No more sad talk. So let's talk about the last ever Friday Night Titans ever.
And what a pairing of matches for the final Friday Night Titans.
Interesting pairing.
We get the debut of Mr. Chandru Dhandapani in the singles division, which was an absolute sight to see. I mean, this guy, we know that he's an IG great, but he literally goes perfect in the first round and just like looks like he should have been there the entire time. I don't know. Kind of, sort of. He struggled a little bit, yes. But he played pretty damn well against, and I'm blanking on her name, but she's a crew member.
Glory Jean.
Glory Jean, excuse me. Thank you.
We will be seeing her again, I believe.
Yes.
That is correct.
The roster, yes.
I believe it's the last match before Spectacular, actually.
I don't know. Chat put it in the chat. Chat put it in the chat, yeah. And when it's going to happen. So, but yeah. Wing Blades of Glory is their team name?
Yeah.
Strong Wing Blades.
Blades of Glory.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, do they come out? Do they come out and do one of the Blades of Glory dances? Like, that's what I need.
I don't know what they did. I can't remember.
I don't think they did, to be honest.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, they probably had met like 30 seconds before.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, because she's a crew member, and
she's a crew member.
She's a crew member, which is just good fun though. That harkens back to Cody Hall days, the Christian Rubalcaba days, like that stuff. I mean, RB3, Aaron Wilhelm was also his editor and he played with Thad. To see Thad in the scene again was cool.
I got so excited when Thad came out. I was like, oh.
He's the new Wire guy. But look, Chandru and Glory Jean, they both showed up. They played really well. Glory Jean ends up getting the victory here. Chandru can't answer his 5. Jill, I want your thoughts on this one because I'm sure you have some.
I am glad we got to see Chandru one more time. But good lord, I've never wanted to smack him across the face more than I did during this match. I was like, shut up. Just want to smack him. Like, stop talking. But that's what he does. That's his character, you know? So he kept the character up for regardless if it's singles or IG. I loved the span where he was like, I could do a singles and I could pick whoever I want. Who wants to play me? And they did a span at the studio and everyone just like...
Not paying attention.
Like, not even giving him a care in the world. Hi, baby. Look who is invited. Look at these a-holes.
Hi, Sean.
I'm not talking to Sean.
Frankie says I'm talking to you.
Hi, Sean.
Yeah, because Frank texted me to come through yesterday, and I didn't come through.
Well, why?
Why? We were busy.
Oh, we were busy
Oh,
yesterday.
I didn't know that. You want to know why? Because this asshole didn't respond at
That's
all.
usual, though.
You
That's
didn't-
usual.
He said,
That's. I mean,
he said,
that's
I
nothing
didn't
new with
know that,
Sean.
though, because this asshole
Nothing
didn't
new.
respond.
No, I'm really bad at texting.
Yeah. So then I had to
Then
send
you always text me
the
back. I
day
don't know what
after
you're talking
follow-up
about.
text of like, how come you didn't... And then he... I'm still not
I
talking.
texted back.
Still not talking. He's mad at you.
I love you, Frank.
Whatever.
My baby. This is very hot. Thank you.
Oh,
Anyway,
goodness.
yeah, I loved that bit. I thought Glory Jean was a lot of fun. I am glad we get to see her do it. I am glad we get to see her at least one more time. Comes into the.
You're gonna get him. You're gonna get him.
Is that
No.
the
Actually,
rumor
there's
train?
only one way he can really get to me very quickly, but he has to offend a lot of people when he does it. So,
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that.
so he can't do it. So he cannot definitely do it on air because he will offend a lot of people.
Oh, we're talking about a thing. Okay, I'm like, we're talking about a show. He's gonna hang. He's gonna chill. He's gonna chiller. He's gonna hang out. Okay. So yeah,
I'm very confused because you're in the ear.
Oh, you have your earbud.
That's why I'm so confused.
I thought she was a lot of fun. Chandru did very well for his first first singles match outside of IG. Both struggled a tad. There was an instance where he could have gotten like a TKO.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he could have if she hadn't because she missed her 2 and her 3, but hit
Yeah.
her 5.
He hit her 5, which that was great. I loved that. So it was a nice little way to get Chandru to be like, hush your mouth. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was an interesting. I mean, they didn't really have a lot of pick-ins for the matches that they did for Friday Night Titans. I thought it was an interesting opening card for the. Oh yeah, we love those spam bots. I thought it was an interesting opening card for a title match. I don't know if I would have chosen it, but I mean, you got your fair pickings now. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm glad we get to see Glory Jean again coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm interested in what, and obviously BTS look at it is like, okay, Chandru wants to play singles. Who do we put him up against to not have someone not wipe the floor with him, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, a good competitor, but maybe he can get a victory. And I don't know the case when it comes to Glory Jean and you know what she's capable of, or an audition or whatever, or her background. But if they were,
Was she the girl that Harloff was tweeting about?
that's what I was wondering, if she was the person.
Is she?
Yes.
Okay.
Because she was the one where he had pulled PLD and I aside at one point and showed us her audition video and was like really, really high on using her, which is why I actually think it made sense in the end for her to be the undercard here, because we'd have one more match. You can have her
That
on the
makes
Final
sense.
Titans, build her for that final match. And I mean, you have Chandru, who is a fan favorite-y character, if you will. So it made sense to lean on that for the final going into, you know, what we have left. So I'm glad that she actually got a Titans card.
Yeah, because I remember him texting about her being like, I hope someone so-and-so, like, I don't think he ever named a name, but he was like, when you get a really good audition tape and you hope that, like, their trivia matches their personality.
And she was great on the mic. Like,
I
she
loved
had
her.
some great comebacks against him, and when she was talking to Jen afterwards and even beforehand, and it's her first match, so maybe you're going to stumble a little bit, and the second round she stumbled just a little bit, and then obviously the third round, but it was her first match. Like, there's going to be jitters, and especially when you quote unquote work on the show for however long, and then you go and compete in front of the desk. But no, I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun little match, and it was closer than I was expecting. And I didn't expect Chandru to play too well, and he played way better than I thought he was going to. So,
yeah,
I kind of figured. Yeah, go ahead, Peach.
I was just gonna say, like, I always assumed he'd probably do okay, just because he was studying with a lot of the people in the space on their factions and stuff. But like, it also means you got to retain it, right? And he showed that he was able to maintain quite a bit of information, even if it wasn't IG. And he showed up and he played, and in true Schmoedown faction, man, like, he had it. It was right there. And then it came down to the pesky fives. And those fives can be super tricky. And, Glory Jean coming out on top was really great for her in the end.
Yeah.
I was going to say that I thought Chandra would play pretty well. We'd always talk about kind of like how he did in like his first rounds, and I'd hear about like what he missed or what he got. So I always figured he'd be pretty solid for the first round. I was curious about what would happen in second and third rounds, and he would have to be a little more strategic in getting some IG strengths probably right, and in the second round and the final round. But it was always going to be about that 5-pointer. That's always the one where if you're not really, really into what bags of the singles division, it's completely different than IG, right? Where you can like actually study and you have like a decent shot of it popping up. Whereas I don't think you can study for fives in the singles division or the teams division, and have one of them pop up. I guess the odds are very, very slim on that, but I always figured that would probably, the 3 or 5 would kind of do him in. The match, though, went a very interesting way. I mean, he's obviously a veteran in terms of playing the game, being on the show. Gloria Jean, brand new to it all, and has come in against one of the loudest mouths that the Schmoedown has ever produced, right? Yep. So, I mean, that's a tall order, and I thought she weathered the storm really well and played great. And I thought, it's unfortunate we're not going to get to see more of her. We'll get one more match, and that's going to be a lot of fun for everyone to watch. I can't wait for people to see that one. Chandru could have made a fantastic team player. I think.
Yeah.
One.
Oh, we're losing Frank.
Oh, it's the revenge of Frank's internet.
Oh, the revenge of Frank's internet. Oh, you're back.
There you go. There you go.
I just wanted to make sure everyone can watch Jill yawn.
Thanks. I know. Your internet was tiring me out, Frank.
Exactly. Yeah. Better you than me. So I thought, Chandra could have made a really great teams division player, and I think it was also announced. Speaking of IG players, Kevin Smets and Draco.
Yep. And Draco.
So that's gonna be really. I think is that who they're playing? Wings Blaze of Glory.
I think that's who they're playing.
Was that the matchup?
Yeah,
right?
It is. Yeah. It absolutely is.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Just a blast. So, but yeah, overall, great debut from both.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. What is Kevin and Andraco's team name? What was it?
Man,
we heard about it last week. It was.
Man, I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
On. I know it. Hold on.
Someone in the chat's gonna put it there. They're gonna put it there.
The I'm like, not the prophecy.
That match, by the way, is so great, and it's
the teams one.
Yeah, and
the Alliance. The Alliance.
Yeah, they have. It's got one of my favorite Schmoedown moments ever.
Ooh.
So it's very fitting that it's one of our last matches.
Oh yeah, there's a great one in there. Also, that is actually that team match is actually the very last thing we ever recorded. The
studio.
match that we ever
Wow.
studio, Prior to, obviously, we still have to film Spectacular, but that was the last one that we ever
That
shot.
was so long
last
ago because I know when Sean was in LA. That was so long ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, that was because they filmed the Alex Damon Marie Wilson one after that.
Was that back in May?
No,
Alex
it was June.
It was the
Alex and
first
Marie.
weekend of June.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
First weekend of June,
The Wingblade one was because
right,
he asked me to go with him. Was like I can't. I'm sorry.
Bummer.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. 2 months ago.
Yeah. So
wow.
Oh,
That's crazy. Okay, so look, we'll wait to see. We get to see Glory Jean again. Unfortunately, we don't get to see Chandru again. And who knows what Spectacular has planned? Maybe he makes an appearance there. But for the time being, at the moment, from what we know, that's the last time we get to see Chandru Dhandapani inside the movie trivia Schmoedown, which is pretty crazy to think about. But let's move on to this singles championship match because this is a doozy. This is a really, 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 really good singles match between current champion Sam Levine and the challenger Mr. Irwin. I apologize. And spoiler, if you have not seen it, we're going to be talking about it, but Sam Levine retains. No surprise here. We've talked about it plenty of times on this channel. Peach, I want to go to you first, man, because look, you obviously are part of the staff and you write these questions and you're seeing these guys go at it. You made Sam stumble a few times, which was great. Finally,
you have no idea how hard PLD and I worked to make sure that actually happened. Number one.
I mean, what'd you think about the match after
honestly, it was such a good match, and for it to be the final belt match for a Titans episode feels very fitting because Sam is constantly talked about as one of the all-time greats. Ethan coming up also is looked at frequently as one of the all-time greats.
What is happening?
I don't know.
I forgot. Sorry, I didn't realize my laptop wasn't.
Anyway,
I didn't realize my laptop wasn't plugged in, so I had to go plug. I said low battery, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
So after being rudely interrupted by
Jill,
no, it's fine, Jill. It's fine. It's fine.
Didn't even have the courtesy to mute.
I know.
Sorry, I freaked out. Okay, Frankie.
We noticed. We were there. We saw it happen.
My microphone fell off my chair. Okay, listen.
You're a hot mess express over there.
I'm always a hot choo-choo.
This ain't brunch. Come on, get it together.
Right. It's such a great match, and I was actually more surprised to see Irwin stumble the way that he did throughout some of the match.
Round two,
because, especially round two. But even the John Candy question in round one was a kind of a surprise for me, just because that's a pretty big movie of its time, like most, fairly well known. And John Candy, he's got quite a few kind of intersections overall on the wheel of things you could have seen. But it's a hell of a match, man. And I'm just happy that we could make it actually that exciting, especially considering Ethan played for Sam, so you have that coming into this too. That's such a great story beat. It's just a really great culmination, all things being equal, for this episode in particular.
No, I mean, I agree. It's funny. We talked about it last week, and I don't think in one when we talked about there's like a quick preview of it. We never mentioned that Sam had been managing Ethan.
No, we never talked about it.
I don't think, and it just slipped our mind. It was something that we just didn't think about, and that adds a whole other thing to all of this, obviously. Oh, yeah. And we saw a great lead up to it with the promo, and then the conversations beforehand and everything. It made everything that much more intense. But Frank, what about you, man? Is this one of the better matches we've had so far this season?
Match wise, it's a really good match. In terms of singles title match, I mean, I don't think it's personally. I don't know if it would crack my top 10 because it ends in a TKO. That those always kind of automatically just kind of get knocked down. But I think the performance that we got from Sam was incredible. The streak ends at 71 questions in a row.
Jesus,
PLD and PJ.
God.
That was pretty insane. That's a pretty insane streak. It kind of, actually, you know, if you're gonna like miss 3 questions of the first round, I would have just rather miss the first question so that the record could stand at 69.
Hey.
Which would have been
So I should have moved
At
that
that
all the
point-
one to the very
yeah, you really
first.
should have at that
Sorry.
point.
Apologies.
Yeah. So, and then that ends up being the only time he misses in the match, or you know, in the first round rather. And after that, I think he went to multiple choice once or twice after that. So, it was a fun match to watch. It had a great build up because of what you were just talking about there, Jake, about Ethan being managed by Sam, and Sam was there when Ethan got the singles belt back at that Cantina match, right? And you know, just completely in his corner, traded for him. You know, I mean, all this stuff, and the promo was pretty solid.
Yeah.
You know, leading into it, so it really did paint the picture for you going into this match, because there's a lot more history that may not have come to mind right away. Be like, oh yeah, this, and this. So that promo was pretty good at reminding what had happened and building up the stakes further. I will say, look, it's one of my favorite all-time pools of all time. Chester Bennington, that pool.
It was
is-
incredible.
It is
Incredible.
ridiculous, because and I'm glad PJ's here, because the wording is a bit deceptive when you say their final appearance or final. What was the wording on that exactly?
What rock musician featured in Crank High Voltage, Crank High Voltage in his final movie role saw 3D?
In his final movie role, which is like, okay, I'm looking for a musician turned actor, and I wouldn't say Chester Bennington is a musician turned actor or an actor.
I never
per
knew
se.
Chester Bennington was even in movies.
I mean, yeah, that's another thing. So I was like, interesting wording. Don't like it. But Sam got the point, and it made the moment even more incredible. It's one of my favorite pulls of all time. I mean, and because it's, you know, a championship match as well, so it has all of that. And
We've used final movie role in the past, though, so I'm not sure why suddenly this is like a
it
thing.
doesn't matter, PJ, if you've used it in the past. It matters how it works in the question. Like, I just found it deceptive. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
That's the point.
No, I'm just asking. You got the point, number one, but also it's not deceptive. We're giving you the context of his final role is in
His,
Saw 3D.
like
How is that deceptive?
This is why
I don't think
Here today.
I
This is
don't
why.
think you needed that part in the question. That's what I'm saying. His final role. You don't need that,
Okay.
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 because that makes it sound like a much more illustrious acting career than he had, which wasn't
Is it
really.
though?
No, it doesn't. It just says
When you say
that-
final role, I'm thinking Robert Redford, like his final role. Like that's what I. That's
The famous Rocky musician Robert Redford.
I bet you could play some tunes. You know? That's a talented man. But you know what I'm saying? Like, when you say final role, I'm like, this is it. This is Marlon Brando, Robert Redford, Paul Newman. Like, these are their final roles, right? And so I just found it a little deceptive,
Yeah.
where you would get tripped up. I'm like, who's
I
final? Like, as if
appreciate
it was
the
some.
feedback. I think you're wrong, but that's okay.
There's always next year. Oh, there isn't. Sorry.
Oh.
I was gonna say
thank
PJ
you for that.
is gonna take notes for the next matches.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wait.
Look, Sam does what Sam does in the second round and on.
Oh my god. I want to talk about that freaking speed round.
Oh,
yeah. So before,
Holy
Jill,
Lord.
I wanted to ask you about the Harry Potter questions in round 2.
Oh yeah. I thought
because Ethan got Harry Potter or Wizarding World, excuse me.
Mhm.
And it's not the first time we've seen him get Wizarding World. He got it in IG last year as well.
Mhm.
And he stumbled. And
Yeah.
Sam got a big steal. What was that kind of like the turning moment for you for everything?
Oh, 100%. And I was kind of surprised that Erwin stumbled a little bit on Harry Potter because he has been in IG tournaments before, and Harry Potter is one of like the main big categories of that division. And I thought that for a singles match, I thought these Harry Potter questions were pretty good. I was shocked when he missed the Luna Lovegood question because I thought that was one of the easier ones. Personally, what movie is the first that you see Luna, which was Order of the Phoenix, and I thought out of all of them that was one of the more questions.
I'm gonna be honest. I might mix that up as well.
I mean, it's super easy to mix up, but like out of the other questions, I feel like that was one of the relatively easier ones. But what do I know? I'm the Harry Potter nerd, so I can't really differentiate between what's difficult or not. But yeah, that was the big turning point for me. Was as soon as Sam got that steal, I was like, ah. But we've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah.
So I didn't call it a game at that, but I was like, okay, this is gonna be a struggle from here on out.
Yeah.
Peach, Frank, any thoughts on the Harry Potter part of it?
I suck at Harry Potter, so but like at the same time, I was like, I think Erwin should do all right, and he did about as well as I thought he would do.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think I could probably say it. I mean, Ethan put that on the wheel. That was his gotcha thing in the moment.
Really?
Was it?
Wow.
I mean, because he doesn't have another match, so I think I can say that, and I don't think we'll get in trouble for it.
Well,
he's not
my bad if I revealed something I shouldn't have. But
what did Sam put on the wheel?
Oh, dude, I don't remember at this point.
Oh, but he remembers.
But I remember. This one I remember because the truth is when he sent it to PLD and I were having a conversation back and forth, and our conversation kept being, "That's a very bold choice considering Sam married Rachel."
That's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it works out.
Like, that was 100% we were sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, "That's a bold strategy."
Yeah.
Because you definitely know that everyone was thinking when he was coming back there, like, we're putting Wizarding World on. And you guys are out of your mind if you don't think that Rachel was spending time studying.
I didn't even think of the Rachel Cushing aspect. Like, that didn't even cross my mind.
Mrs. Levine is literally a Harry Potter.
I know that, but like my brain didn't even register, she's probably feeding him, Harry Potter trivia questions as they're eating their Sunday dinner. You know, like I didn't even think about that aspect.
Yeah,
that's interesting that he put that on the wheel. That's very interesting.
Did Sam put movie release dates on the wheel? He might have.
Sounds like a Sam thing.
There was a big reaction during the betting round when they landed on it. I don't know who it came from because the camera wasn't showing them.
Yeah,
obviously he's very good at release dates. Yeah. So I mean, like that's a welcome sight, whether he put it on the wheel or not. I think. But yeah, when that happened too, I was like, oh boy, that's like. I mean, even though it was probably automatically going to be 3-point bet.
Bless you.
I was like, that's definitely a 3-point bet. Like,
yeah.
So it was more of like a crap thing for Ethan because there's like really no sense of catching up in that round. But you never know. But in this case, we know, and well, it didn't work out for Ethan. So
I gotta say, I'm very happy that we wrote speed round questions where they actually had to like sit and wait. By the way, like that was the other thing.
But they didn't, PJ.
Okay.
But
Ethan
did it. The first one out of the gate, Ethan answered within like 4 words, and
I was like, what? It was like something stupid, like what 1980 movie features a dog? And he was like, I'm like, what are you doing?
No, like to get K9 is
he did
ridiculous.
What Sam did. He did what Sam did with that Evan Almighty question.
But
it's
even
like very similar.
Yeah, but I think Ethan actually knew the answer, whereas Sam basically figured out it's got to be this one without that's I think personally that's how I see the discrepancy. It's the same thing, yes, but the minutia there.
No, sure.
It's crazy, insanity. The whole speed round was freaking insane because Erwin did that, and then I think the next question, Sam did the same thing where he was like 4 or 5 words in, and he buzzed in, and I'm like, what? All of you are insane people. Like, I don't understand how you get it like that. There's no way.
Those are the guys who have held belts.
Yeah.
Because they're insanely good, and even when we're trying our hardest to like actually try to slow them down,
not these two.
Not an easy thing.
Not these two.
Here's some good insight from Mr. King Khan here. Based on how much information was given, the answer could have been Turner and Hooch.
Yeah.
But Ethan absolutely took a shot that it was K9 instead.
You can't say for absolute sure.
I mean, it's the same. So I mean, like from the writer's perspective, PLD wrote that question, and he did the same thing that I was trying to do with the Evan Almighty one, where if you buzzed quick, it could bite you instead of
Yeah.
stopping to listen to it longer. And they're starting to see through that. That's the best way to describe it, is that they're realizing that we get smart, and so I think they juked the other way. That's the only thing I can come up with, but it's very impressive nonetheless.
Crazy. Insanity. I don't understand it. My brain doesn't work that way. Like, even if it's a Harry Potter question, I'm like, I can't like buzz in that fast. And they have the entirety of cinema in their minds to pull from for an answer, and I'm just like, I don't understand.
I was watching this with a couple of roommates, and when Ethan did that, they were like, "Wait, what just happened?" What?
Yeah, wait.
Like, bro, I don't, like,
rewind it. What happened?
I was like, yeah, I don't know either, man. It's insane.
Crazy. Bravo, gentlemen.
Bibbs did that with the Pirates question too.
Yeah.
I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
crazy people. Crazy people.
Everyone is crazy.
Someone always has that one answer locked and loaded. Just for whatever reason, it's right there at the tip of their brain, and they can get it.
I don't understand.
And then so we obviously know that going into the fifth round, Sam had a hefty lead, and it ends up in TKO. Ethan's not able to answer all his questions, but he got a bonkers 5-point question from a Harrison Ford category. The paranoia? That's what it was. Paranoia, right?
Yeah.
And what an out of left field movie for the Harrison Ford catalog. But it's a great 5-point question. And he just wasn't able to pull it. And Sam ends up retaining the belt. So, I mean, yeah, it ends in a TKO, but the match was a lot more back and forth than it led. Like, if you just look at the box score, essentially.
Sure.
Because the speed round, if Ethan was a little closer going into that round, it definitely could have swayed some things back and forth. But again, Sam just does what Sam does. Like, it's ridiculous what this guy's done since he's gotten back. It's crazy.
Bravo. Never would have guessed it ended in TKO, though. I will say that.
Same.
Never. That was not on my bingo card.
I never expect any title match
to
end in a TKO or a KO. Sorry, Paul.
Sorry, Paul.
Twice.
Yeah, I was gonna say
be
that
nice.
thing,
Be nice to Paul.
I didn't do it. He did it. What are you
and it
Frankie.
that
Talk to
just
him
goes
about
to
it.
show that this game on any given Schmo day can go any direction that you're really not anticipating.
Yeah.
That's just the way that it always is, and it will continue to be until October 1st. So,
Yep.
I do have a question for the class, but before we get to the question, we actually have a Streamlabs that have come in from one Daniel, and I want to make sure I read it because it's actually a fun question. And he said, if you guys were to write the final Schmoedown question for the main event at Spectacular, what would it be? I'm hoping for at least one Top Gun Maverick question before Schmoedown ends, by the way. Don't think, just do.
I have
Thank you,
been
Daniel.
asking PJ
Thank
to
you,
write
Daniel.
this 5-point question ever since I met PJ.
A 5-pointer is hard to think of.
It is a 5-pointer from my favorite comedy movie of all time, which all of you know what it is, and you all should see it by now. It is So I Married an Axe Murderer. And the question is, what is the name of the plumber that oh my god, what's the name of the bride? Not Rose.
I know it's your favorite movie. I don't know.
I just watched it, but anyway, what is the name of the plumber that the bride screams in her sleep every night? Is my 5-point question.
A lot of people are saying a Remember the Titans question would be fitting.
Remember the Titans question.
Oh man, that would be great.
That would be great.
you guys act like I don't want to put Remember the Titans questions in some of the matches anyway.
It's so good.
Come on,
All right.
PJ,
what if you made? It's hard to figure out what would actually be the last question,
right?
But
anything in round one, though.
What if it was the first question ever asked in the Schmoedown, but changed to a 5-point level?
I actually, so funny that you bring that up, Frank. I thought that our last scene for Spectacular should have been an homage to Seinfeld, and it should have been them like sitting outside scrimmaging, and someone asked the very first question we heard because Seinfeld ends with the same first joke as the last thing that they say in prison. So
you know what you should do is just flip it on its head and ask a television question.
Yeah.
It's not even a movie question.
Ask a MASH question.
Ask a freaking ask like Friends.
Were you able to sneak in a Top Gun Maverick though, PJ?
it won't be able.
It doesn't qualify.
It doesn't qualify because there's a 3-month.
It's the final show. You should make everything qualify.
Look, if I could, I would, but it doesn't meet our rules that we still have set in place. However, that does mean that Multiverse of Madness is absolutely in the card, which means I can absolutely get at least one Pizza Papa question in before the end of
Pizza Papa.
So, just be ready for that.
Yeah,
Pizza Papa's coming, baby.
Pizza Papa. Just ask for the final match, just have it be all Bruce Campbell questions.
Honestly, if I could, I would. That's the dream.
All Bruce Campbell.
Honestly, I think what if one of the last questions was like a Van Damme question? You got to go back to like the early categories.
I've thought about it. Like, I think some of the matches and some of the questions that we can get away with in using, I can do curves back to things that people will recognize or like. Look, I'm gonna try to write this as best as possible as a love letter to the show and to the competitors and to the fans. It's not a super easy task. Basically, I'm having to do Rise of the Skywalker, but for the Schmoedown. So, there's only so much I can do. But just, everyone, like, it's going to be very easy for a lot of people to be very vocal about how either they think what the matchups are or whatever, what have you. Guys, just go with us for the last 6 matches. Like, and just be aware that we're trying to put the best show on possible. It's going to be very easy for people to start nitpicking stuff to death. Don't do that. Don't be those people.
And it's 7 matches, by the way.
It's 7 matches. Okay.
Yeah, it's 7 matches because me and PJ are fighting in the parking lot afterwards.
Oh, well, that's true.
Sign me up.
That's go back to our own picture of us.
Do I have to submit a request for that one, or can I just show up for the parking lot match?
No, that one's free. As long as you bring a bottle,
J-Mo?
Yeah, a bottle. No, just a bottle.
Just a bottle? Oh, okay.
Jameson,
as long as it's empty.
A couple people in the chat are saying Blue Fairy, obviously.
Blue Fairy.
Needs to be brought back in some capacity. And Curtis has an interesting one here. What is the exact runtime of the Burbs?
Oh,
God.
97 minutes.
That'd be such a dick.
Could you imagine if we tried to do runtime?
97 minutes.
The most ridiculous thing.
97 minutes.
Is it 97 minutes? You know that for a fact?
I don't know, but it sounds like it could be.
You got
to know now.
I'm looking.
The Burbs.
So Google says hour 41.
Wow, not even close.
Well, no, that is close.
I know that is.
It's 100 minutes. What are you talking about? I was off by like 5 minutes.
Not even close, Frankie. Not even close.
I mean, look, if I can get my last question in, I would love if it's either something Bruce Campbell or Puppet Master or like something very weird and wonderful like that. Basket Case. Like, let's just really go wild and have like the weirdest finale question ever.
How many Ed Harris questions is PLD trying to put in there?
None. I will not allow
it.
No Ed Harris. No Ed Harris. He's gotten more than enough Ed Harris this season. Enough is enough, PLD. I'm calling it now.
Fair. That is fair.
Maybe not.
Frank, come on, man. All right, kind of the last thing that I want to end on here is I just wanted to ask. Obviously, we're probably hopefully going to see Sam in Spectacular, but where does he rank currently? Singles players. I'm not doing any Rushmore type stuff. I'm just saying in general, his defenses, winning the belts. Where do you think he ranks when it comes to all Schmoedown competitors through the 9 seasons?
I think if he had returned like sooner, he would be the GOAT.
You think he'd be over Dan?
I think he would be over Dan. Where he stands now, I put him. I would.
So you're saying Dan then Sam?
I might put Bibbs before Sam.
Okay.
Sam's definitely. I would say Sam is probably number 3.
Okay.
Maybe I would switch 2 and 3. But if he had returned maybe like a season or 2 sooner, I would put him over. And he kept up the performance that he did this season, I'd probably put him over Dan.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
Frank? Or PJ? PJ, go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say it's tough because Sam was gone for so long, and that plays a part in it. And we've seen Dan play so frequently over so many different iterations of the show. Dan has kind of always been there from the beginning. Yeah, he was gone for a little bit, but he came back and he's continued to play and played well. He played very well through digital. He played, so that helps a lot. Looking at his legacy is that he's been around and survived this for so long. So as much as I want to give it to Sam, his run was amazing this season, don't get me wrong, but like Dan has been there front to back over and over and over again and just continued to put up incredible performances and has played with how many different teammates over that amount of time, been through so many different spectaculars. Like he's been on every card basically, like that. He's just that relevant and that good to the conversation. I think it's always going to be Dan. That's just my personal opinion. And that's not a dig at Sam, but like Dan's got so many wins under his belt to prove it. And there's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Dan number 1 for me. In terms of singles players, like it would go Dan, then Sam. Overall, I think would go Dan, Kalinowski, Sam. I'll put him right there. If only he didn't retire, and
yeah, that's my thing.
And because if he doesn't do that, then it totally affects the Dan Merle narrative because they're gonna clash, right? Because they're so good. So, maybe Dan's career isn't as illustrious with as many title wins as he got in defenses and whatnot, and maybe Sam's isn't as well, right? So I think, they never got to cross paths on this run just because of the way things were set up going into the season. If we had the tournaments and whatnot, then, that's a whole nother story, which is also something Dan never won, was a singles tournament, which Sam did do. I mean, he's won both tournaments. Dan did win a teams one, even though it was the truncated one, still counts. But, so, I mean, there's a lot of different things that Sam did that Dan hasn't done. There's a lot of things that Dan has done that Sam hasn't done, including Dan beating Sam. So, I mean, there's just so many things that go back and forth. And I think if Sam had maybe, given the way he's playing right now, I think if he had one more year, I think, and he performs the way he performs, and he holds on to the belt for a whole nother year, let's say, then you really start talking about who's the GOAT between Dan and Sam. But that also means that Sam would have to start playing teams next season as well, because he's got to start racking up some wins there and make some moves there. Even though Dan didn't do a whole lot, I mean, he won it, obviously, the belt, and Sam has done that as well. But Sam would have to start surpassing stuff that Dan did in teams, as well as in singles, obviously. But, if we had one more year, could Sam have made the conversation way more interesting for a lot more people? Probably, I think. But we'll never know at this point. So, but Sam, man, just incredible run he's had. It's pretty insane. And, he faced Irwin, Oyama, Marisol McKee. I mean, these are heavy hitters. So the way he was able to take down Paul and Ethan and somehow squeak out the narrowest of all-time victories against Marisol, I mean, that just is never going to, you could not, if you played 9 more seasons of the Schmoedown, I don't think you'd see that kind of result again. Yeah. And that also speaks to the prowess of Marisol. I mean, there's so many names to keep throwing into the conversation that, what if they were all playing at the same time? What would stuff look like? Which is a fun conversation to have. But in terms of this conversation, Dan's still going to be the GOAT. no matter what happens between now and Spectacular, I don't care if Sam knocks out whoever, if it's not Dan. But
Yeah.
well, even if he played Dan and knocked out Dan, I still don't think that's enough to put him over the top as the GOAT. But anyway, so yeah, Sam, a lot of what ifs with that guy, but we still know a lot.
A lot of what ifs.
There's a lot of what ifs to everything at this point.
Yeah.
And to your point, look at how many people have come in the time since he stopped playing.
Yeah.
And then he came back. Marisol, dude, they were again, I don't think you can make that up. That whole thing is just so wild, and that result, insane to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the longevity for Dan definitely puts him. Puts him
for
over
sure.
the top of
Certainly
anybody.
has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
It just the amount of time he's spent playing this game and how consistent he's been through every iteration of this game is a big part of it. But I think, I mean, I don't know if I have an exact number of where he is, but Sam is definitely, I'd probably say top 3 at this moment.
But not
maybe
number 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean,
So
I don't know.
3.
Maybe.
You wouldn't put
I'd
him
have to
number
really.
1. Come on.
No, I wouldn't put him at 1. But maybe he's 2. Kalinowski has an incredible argument. I still think that Rachel has a great argument because I think her career was just cut short for personal reasons. And there's a couple people that definitely have good arguments for being in that conversation.
I think there's conversations to have about what have you done in the totality of the Schmoedown, right? And then like also what kind of player are you, which kind of bleeds into your history of game playing, right? But if you just took a look at Rachel's career in the snapshots and what she was able to accomplish and how she played and you compare that to Bibbs or Dan and Sam and Ethan and Paul Yaman and Adam Collins and like all these names, right? Like there is so little separation between all of them.
Yeah.
It's a fun argument, and the only way to kind of start splitting hairs is like, well, did you win any tournaments? Did you win free for all? How many belts did you win? How many defenses? So you start have to going through all these different kind of machinations in terms of how do you start splitting hairs, because when you lump all the singles champions, all the champions, there's not a whole lot that separates them from one another.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And then the final thing, and we touched on it a little bit earlier, but the closeout of Friday Night Titans with Jen Sturger, turning off the lights of the studio, walking out, and FNT is officially over and done with. And we talked about it earlier. We don't have to talk about it much, but just a great, cherry on top to everything. Great post-credit scene. And I love that it was Jen as well. Like Jen was the one because she had spent, the amount of interviews and time that she has spent inside that studio over the last however many years, it just felt like the perfect little touch for the end there.
Yeah. I thought it was, short, sweet, to the point. I don't think there was really a better way they could have ended that than that little cutscene.
Yeah. And I thought that, because they had been building that stuff with Flaus, and to kind of just gently tie it in that way and kind of end that story in a open-ended sort of way, but also
what's the note say?
Right. And I'm glad that we'll never know. Honestly, like I'm glad we'll never know, and I'm glad that it went the way that it did. The only more fitting version of it would have been a version where it's Christian and someone it's like comes in and they're like, I heard that there's this game and I'd like to play, and he goes, sorry, we're closed, and he turns the light off. Sort of.
That'd be brutal.
But
that is brutal, BJ.
Because
sorry.
Because we were already emulating Cheers, and Cheers' ending is people coming down the stairs.
Sure.
And that's the only reason I'm saying it.
Cheers ended the way they wanted to end. Cheers.
And I like it though. Maybe it's okay to make people fucking cry. So swearing.
No, hey, we call it. The swearing is gone. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I think it would have been cute if they did like it's just everything's silent, like there's no noise, maybe like some background music kind of thing, and it's just Mark and Christian eating a pizza at the pizza place in Anaheim.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad either.
Like an Avengers type thing where they're done with their business and they're getting their food in.
Yeah.
I think if we're
That'd
talking
be
about
great.
alternate, first of all, I like what they did.
I did
that
too.
was
I did
Jen.
too. Yeah.
All of
I
us
thought that was
liked what they
Jen.
did. To
Yes,
be clear.
yes,
Like,
I thought that was the best way.
But
they
We're just hypothetically talking here.
But if
That's
we
all.
had,
all
yeah, hypothetically, here's what I would have set up a match, a team match,
Oh my
right?
God.
Oh god.
It would have been the Dan Murrow, Mara Kanopik versus Sam Levine, Rachel Cushing. We're gonna get that, and then we get a one last "Are you ready, Schmoedown?" We're about to start the match, and then that's it.
so we
We don't get to
Oh.
see it.
So
we
we
don't
go
get to
Soprano.
see it, and it kind of it's not sort of, but it's kind of like the game keeps on playing, even though
right.
you know
It's over, officially
it's-
over.
right, but it's out there somewhere else. It's still
That's actually
going on.
really cool. That's cool.
You know,
I like
That's really
that.
good too. Yeah.
I like that.
We get Bateman running in, going, "I'm ready for Star Wars, guys," and then
yeah, that'd have been great.
then they're like, "Yes, about that." Sorry.
Yeah, there's plenty of things we could have emulated, but the truth is that it's such a great ending regardless,
Yeah.
and it just feels so right and it feels so fitting. And look, man, there was probably no one better than Jen in that moment,
Yeah.
like Jake said, and it just works. It's really beautiful, in a very heartbreaking sort of way, but I think it also just it leaves us in that note, in that moment of we did it, we did the thing.
Also,
and we can be proud of the thing.
I don't know anything else, but I'll just say that's the ending for Friday Night Titans.
Yeah.
Yes, we're still getting more
That's-
matches.
Yeah, we still have more matches.
Right. What I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that's not like an MTS ending, right?
Yeah.
Which will happen at Spectacular. So there's gonna be I'm assuming, I would surmise that there would be some sort of other type of I don't know if you would call
Send-off.
it a scene, but yeah, there'd be another type of.
I bet
send-off.
it would be. It's going to feel like an epilogue. That
Yeah.
would be the best way to describe it, because I think that what we saw was the ending, but
Of
then
the show.
But we move into when you read Deathly Hollows the first time, the story ended, but then you get an epilogue.
Yeah.
Hey, things worked out, and we can do that sort of thing too.
Yeah. Gordon says here, with her putting the mic on the table was like when they put the keys on the table
Oh
in the
my God,
Friends.
yeah.
unit.
Yeah, 100%.
So very, very similar in that aspect. Okay.
Except the ironic thing is, not a lot of people had mics.
Yeah, only Jen.
Only Jen.
All right, just one quick Streamlabs before we get out of here. This one is from Therrell. He says, note, quoting Death and Sandman, when it's over, I'll turn the lights out and go relax in my office. This reminds me of the very end of the Schmoedown 2.
Yep.
Yeah, very similar. Very, very similar. All right, any final thoughts on anything Friday Night Titans, Schmoedown related, guys? PJ, Frank, I don't know if you guys are going to be doing anything for the rest of the season. If you guys have any final words.
I personally will
Don't
not
feel
be
pressured to.
Yeah.
No, I personally won't be doing anything Schmoedown like on my own. At least that's my thoughts right now. Who knows when a couple months from now if that's different or not. I don't know. But you know, Titans is over, Schmoedown is over. Yes, there are other matches that'll be dropping. It'll be fun to see which ones those are. Aside from the ones we already know that we're getting. Oh wait, did they put something out?
They put a schedule out
Yeah,
for.
there's a schedule.
But was that just for the rest of Titans,
October-
or was that the whole thing?
No, it was for the. Well, there were a bunch of TBD announced
Okay,
matches.
okay.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what the exhibition stuff is. So.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I'll be checking in casually, and that's about it.
Oh, Frankie.
Yeah, I don't know if I've talked about, now that I'm doing stuff on my channel again, we might do like one last wrap up with everything once everything's said and done. Might get
We will
some of you
hear,
guys
and both
on
of
there.
you are invited. So.
Yeah, but I mean, look, if I don't have anything else to add to the conversation or say anything anywhere else after this, like, honestly, number one, to you guys, and obviously like Brian, Molly, everyone who was over here, you guys crushed it. And so thank you guys for covering the show and for always, being there for all of us. Because, if it wasn't for you guys talking about it or hyping things up, things could have looked different. And you guys poured your heart into something that we cared about in the same way we were pouring ourselves into it. And that means a lot. So thank you guys. To the fans who watched, you guys were incredible. And I really appreciate you guys a lot. Even the people I vehemently disagree with about things, you guys were still watching. You were still interacting.
AKA Frank.
Yeah, AKA Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
I just thought that was deceptive. That's all.
But it mattered. And, you know, especially over the last couple of years when the world shut down and we still had the show, you guys were still there, and that rules. So, you know, thank you guys for the support as always. I know I speak for myself and PLD and the rest of the team that without you guys, there was no show. So thank you for showing up. And to Mark and Christian, I mean, they took a chance on us, and they didn't have to take a chance on me, and they didn't have to take a chance on Frank or any of us, and they did. So to Mark and Christian, like, my endless love and gratitude, because you guys gave me an entire family out of this, and that's all I could ever ask for once the show was over. So all things being equal, I'm the happiest I could be with the circumstances that they are, because I got you guys out of it. So that's it.
Love it.
Thank you.
Jill, any final words before we wrap it up?
I'll have final words once like it all wraps up. It's hard for my brain to like
Process.
feel like it's ending. But I loved FNT. And I think like I said, the post-credit scene I think was the best way to go out for Friday Night Titans. It's gonna be a major bummer. We're not getting it anymore. But yeah, I mean, I echo what PJ said, and it, you know, this crazy ride brought me to all of you guys. So that's what matters in the end of it all. So yay.
Agreed.
We'll just
Yeah,
do something else.
What?
I said we'll just do something else now.
Exactly.
Like drink at Barney's.
Like drink at Barney's.
In Santa Monica.
No, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, and for everyone watching, this isn't like a farewell for us. We're going to be covering. We'll be here on a weekly basis
We're
for the
still
next
here. You can't get rid of
however
us.
long. We'll be doing a spectacular show, and then we'll probably end up doing like a full-on Schmoedown recap show with plenty of guests and whatnot in October. I will say there will not be a show next week. We will all be extremely busy.
I wonder why.
I wonder what's going on next weekend.
Event.
What?
There is some event
possibly
happening next weekend.
I have to go.
And I will add to that you probably won't see me on a live show for an extended period of time. So
Why
Jill,
not?
It's
Molly,
not ending.
Brian,
It's not ending. The show's not ending, but I'm not going to be here for a
But-
while.
I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here.
Wow, we're
so,
straight up you girl this then, huh?
Yeah.
Where's Big and Fun?
Jill, Molly, and Brian will be holding down the fort. I don't know how long I'll be gone, but I'll be gone. So everyone, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you all. Continue to watch on a weekly basis. Tons of great matches coming out. I think Khan put the matches that are actually confirmed in the chat, so you guys can check that out. Exhibitions and whatnot. And then, of course, Spectacular. So a lot of fun things coming. We'll be here on a weekly basis. And to Frank, PJ, thank you guys so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Good seeing you guys. Hey, you're good.
It's time. It's time.
It's time. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. We'll be back this week with some Patreon stuff. Make sure you guys are hitting that link if you're interested. Q&A is headed your way. And yeah, so everyone have a great rest of your evening. Have a great week. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.